Hello everyone, GoldenNova here. Today's episode is a bit of a special request from one of my mods. Captain Blitz is having their birthday soon and he requested, well, an episode about Thunder Spark Dragon. But we can't do an episode over a single card, so we took a step back and it turns out we've got a whole theme that's built around it. Well, included in the theme, that is. Thunder Spark, much like Cologne, a previous video we've done, is an artificial human and number hunter made by Dr. Faker with a soul to staff his theme park. And on top of Thunder Spark Dragon, they also wield the Hunders, cards made for the all but express purpose of making that Xyz monster. And by gumption, we're gonna get them covered. So get ready to crank up the voltage as well as reinforcing the importance of family bonds with the Thunder family and other associated cards explained. Today's episode is possible thanks to viewers like you, as well as my patrons. If you like what I do here, I would super appreciate it if you'd subscribe to help us reach another wonderful milestone video. And if you want to support me directly while getting some awesome benefits, check out the link to my Patreon in the description below. So, what's the deal with Hunders? Well, they're a series of level 4 light thunder monsters that have a big focus on normal summoning, chaining as many of them together as possible to assemble a bunch of material. You know, the kind of stuff you do when you have a deck that relies on the extra deck. Yeah, don't look at Flu, they can sense fear. First up, we have two monsters with the exact same effect. Hunder has 1400 attack and 700 defense, while Hunder has 1300 attack and 600 defense. And both of them, once per turn, lets you normal summon a level 4 light thunder monster from your hand, except a copy of itself, as an additional normal summon. It's not one of those inherited extra normal summons, this is part of an activated effect, so these two stack together quite nicely, which is good because you want to get as many of them as possible to make good use of the rest of the Hunders. And the good news is they don't have hard once per turns. That means that while Hunder can't normal summon other copies of Hunder, you can have normal summon Hunder, which can then normal summon Hunder, which will normal summon then and, well, you keep going with that for as many times as you have copies. And bonus, it doesn't punish you for special summoning. Some cards in this vein view special summoning as an anathema and try to ward them off as much as possible. But if you special summon either of these, they can still activate their additional normal summon effect, so have fun with it. It's a good old-fashioned mom and pop shop till you drop. Or rather, shock till they drop. Next up, we have Brohunder. It has 900 attack and 400 defense, and when this card is normal summoned, you can add a level 4 light thunder monster from your deck to your hand, except a copy of itself. Now, obviously, this is meant to work with our other Hunders, but it's not a bad effect in other decks too. Several battery men like 9V and Solar are up for grabs with this, and speaking of grabbing, Thunderhand is also available, though the 1600 stat line is not going to be very common this video. But then there's the most interesting pick, Vylon Prism, which is a pretty swell tuner to go along with the rest of your level 4s, even potentially giving it a significant power boost. So hey, we've actually got a pretty nifty bridge to our splashes, and you gotta love it when a card helps you branch out that's built right into the engine. What a bro. Sishunder has 900 attack and 400 defense, and when this card is normal summoned, you can target a level 4 light thunder monster with 1600 or less attack in your graveyard, except a copy of this card, and banish that target. During the end phase, add that card to your hand. So we have delayed card advantage. Not really sure why banishing was part of all this. There's no synergy with any of the cards we can target with this, but I guess it adds some flair to it, so I guess I dig it. And it grabs a big chunk of level 4 light thunders. However, there are a few that are annoyingly just too high in the attack range to grab. Diana the Light Spirit would have been a perfect part of a level 4 spam deck, and Thunder King Ryo was the original Thunder Dragon Colossus. But hey, all of our on-theme cards are available, and what more can you ask than that? It turns out that every level 4 light thunder monster with 1600 or less attack wants to be at the sister location. Otonari Thunder has 500 attack and 1200 defense, and if you control 2 or more thunder monsters and this card is in your hand or grave, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can target an Xyz monster you control and attach 2 level 4 light thunder monsters from your hand, face up field and or grave to it as material, including this card. So how does this fit into the whole ma, pa, bro, and sis dynamic? Well, this is a neighbor. That's how the pun name shakes out, apparently. I don't know. Anyway, this card is super cracked. It's free material that can either act as a way to get into an Xyz monster itself, or supercharge the material on an existing Xyz monster, which doesn't have to be light or a thunder, so that's great. And because it gets put under an Xyz monster, it'll go back to the grave instead of being banished when detached, so you can keep doing this over and over and over again. It's just a really good card, and now you can use this for basically any Thunder deck, at least insofar as the first effect goes, since this Hunder has specifically dropped the light requirement for that. I'm so glad we get inadvertent Ryziel support. That's what I call a friendly neighborhood Hunder. Next up, we have a support creature, Thunder Seahorse. It's got 1600 attack, there's that Thunder hand number, and 1200 defense. And you can discard this card to add 2 level 4 light Thunder monsters with the same name with 1600 or less attack from your deck to your hand. But you can't special summon during the turn you activate this effect. So yeah, I guess there is a bit of an anti-special summoning bias going on here, but hey, at least it's localized to this card specifically. This can get 2 monsters of the theme we've talked about so far, and even more copies of Thunder Seahorse if you want to trade copy 1 for copies 2 and 3, leading to some stellar deck thinning. The main problem is that it conflicts with the deck's own game plan. When you make an archetype centered around normal summoning a whole bunch so you can summon an extra deck monster, it's gonna be slowed down a bit if you can't special summon. But hey, it's great for filling up your hand, so you'll be able to pay the cost for trap cards like Phoenix Wing Wind Blast or Karma Cut, if you find yourself in older formats. Maybe it can be helpful for using Forbidden Droplets? But hey, fun fact, if you grab Sishunder with this, you can normal summon it to banish the Thunder Seahorse, and now you get it back for even more searches on the following turn. Truly, it is a might wielded only by those monsters with the noblest and most extended of snoots, and as players, it is our solemn duty to doot that snoot for value as much as possible. Now that we've had a brief stint with a random support monster, let's take a look at an even smaller sub-theme, the newly released Electrode Beasts. These are level 2 light thunder monsters with 300 attack and 100 defense, but despite the lower level, they're still here to help us rock rank 4s. Electrode Beast Cation is our first one, and if this card is normal summoned, you can add an Electrode Beast Anion from your deck or grave to your hand. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon a level 4 or lower Thunder monster. Also, you can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except light Xyz monsters. You can also target one other Thunder monster you control that has a level, and this card's level becomes that monster's until the end of the turn. So you normal this, grab Anion, then you can normal summon it, and then what? If all Electrode Beasts are level 2, shouldn't this be an off-brand Sprite combo? And that's where you'd be wrong. Let's check out Electrode Beast Anion. If this card is normal summoned, you can make this card's level 4. Then, you can add a Spirit Converter from your deck or grave to your hand. You can also target one other card you control and send both it and this card to the grave to draw a card. So there's the missing link. Anion will become a level 4 monster, at which point you can copy it for Cation to make your rank 4s. And it even has a way to trade in cards for a draw, helping you dig for your combo pieces or your hand traps. But then, what in the heck is a Spirit Converter? Well, let's take a look at that card real quick. It's a continuous spell card that, once per turn, lets you target an Xyz monster you control and attach a level 4 light monster you control to it as Xyz material. And if this card is sent from the field to the grave, you can target 2 level 4 light thunder monsters with the same name in your grave and add those targets to your hand, which will be pretty easy to set up when you add 2 light thunder monsters of the same name from your deck to your hand with Thunder Seahorse. So what we can glean from this is that the cards want you to go from Cation to Anion to Spirit Converter, then overlay your 2 electrodes for a light Xyz rank 4. But if you have Otanari Thunder on hand, you can instead overlay Cation and Otanari, then have Anion send itself and the Spirit Converter to the grave for a draw, and netting you 2 monsters from your grave. Bonus points if you then have another level 4 monster on board to supercharge your Xyz monster using Spirit Converter's effect. It's a very nifty addition to the theme, which does technically leave the door open to playing rank 2 monsters, but seriously, did we have to give sentience to even more masses of electrical energy? This time you made one with depression, that's not cool. Our last card is the one that got us on this track in the first place, number 91, Thunder Spark Dragon, a rank 4 light dragon Xyz monster with 2400 attack and 2000 defense, requiring 3 level 4 monsters as material. And once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. You can either detach 3 Xyz material from this card to destroy all other face-up monsters on the field, or detach 5 material from this card to destroy all cards your opponent controls. So the funny thing about this card is that its material is only 3 monsters, not 3 or more, which you would usually find with other cards that have similar scaling effects with their material. So you have to run ways to give it Xyz material to access its better effect, which makes this kind of a cool teaching card in a way, exploring the design space that Xyz monsters provide, and thankfully, it just got a whole lot better. With the introduction of Otonari Thunder, after you do a chain of summoning resulting in 3 monsters, you can bring out Otonari, then perform that big Xyz summon. Then use Otonari to attach itself and another card, and there you go, that's 5 material. And with the way open, you can deal 2,400 direct damage, a little over a quarter of our opponent's starting life total. Yeah, if you want to pursue a devastating game-ending play, you're gonna have to find a way to do all that and put more threats onto the board. I mean, the board wipe is impressive, and the fact that it's easier to do now than ever before means it's easier to get those threats, but that doesn't stop it from feeling like a big anticlimax. Like, could we give it a more imposing name next time? Thunder Spark Dragon? Sparks are tiny flecks of fire that come out of your fireplace and burn out in an instant. What about Thunder Storm Dragon or Thunder Bolt Dragon? I came from a land down Thunder Dragon, please, anything! Okay, so that's all the Hunder and Hunder associated cards, but what do we do with them? Well, Thunder Spark is pretty good, but I think we can do better. Let's find some other Xyz monsters, preferably light ones so they work with our Electrode Beasts, as well as other ways to charge up our Xyz monsters, and see if there's other ways to make Thunder Spark Dragon more of an OTK. So what can we play to help them out? As far as light Xyz monsters go, we actually have a lot of rank 4s that require at least 3 material that we're well positioned to make use of. Bujinki Amaterasu can help you recover banished monsters, while Tsukuyomi can help you sift for more cards. Number 102, Star Seraph Sentry, gives us a way to debuff a monster's attack and effect, and I can't think of many monsters that would survive being hit after that. Number 104, Masquerade, on the other hand, has more reactive negation, but only during the battle phase. The burn is funny though, not to mention the free mill. Vylon Die Sigma gives you some lore flavor, absorbs monsters, and then randomly gains removal via combat if it fights things that have a matching attribute to what it absorbs. I kinda dig it. And while this next monster only requires 2 materials, it's hard to deny just how good Eclipse Twins is in any rank 4 strategy, both as its own entity and as a way to recover your other rank 4s. How about cards that help us spam monsters? Well, for that, it's time to go back to the old staples. Photon Thrasher is here if you've got an older collection, or you want to be more period appropriate, but if you own a more modern card pool, Sakitama is about a free and normal summon as it gets, and they're both light attribute. Yippee! Double Summon helps keep us to our preferred playstyle, but it's pretty bad. I wish I could tell you to run Brilliant Fusion for the game's best extra normal summon, but sadly that's not possible because it's broken. Well, you can still play Seraphonite, but now you have to summon it the real way with Gem Knight Fusion. The perks, though, are that all of your light monsters already act as the material you need for the second half of Seraphonite, as well as filling the requirement for Prismara, which is just more removal. Heck, you can even overlay your Hunters for Gem Knight Pearl if you need a Gem Knight material. It all adds up a little too perfectly. Thunder support is a little rough to come by. The Photon Sanctuary gives us 2 big tokens, but we can't overlay tokens. We can link into some Summer Summoner, but that only revives during our opponent's turn, which is no time for a little Hunder to be puttering about. Paralyzing Mushroom doesn't work too well with the base Hunters, but Thunder Seahorse and Otonari Thunder can proc either of its effects, so that's more material for you to use, but just with Link monsters. All in all, probably best to leave this stuff to Battery Men and Thunder Dragons if I'm being honest. But if you must get your Thunder fix, Splashing Watts is pretty swell. They just got a pretty beefy chunk of new support, and have a few level 4 light Thunder monsters that you might fancy. If you're worried about pushing your plays through, Watt Giraffe is great for shutting off your opponent's ability to do, well, anything. As for a silly tech pick, well, you could blast your opponent's entire field with Thunder Spark Dragon, but as we've established, that's not really an effective way to win the game. But we can still put all that extra material to use in a different way. Just hit your opponent with Stoic Challenge. With 5 material, this card gives a cool 3000 attack boost while letting you deal double battle damage as long as you're fighting another monster. And while we can't activate our effects while equipped with this, we're trying to close out the game here, so that hardly matters. It does mean that if the attack fails to end the game, we're not able to just detach those material to nuke our opponent's board anyway, so make sure you have the all clear before committing to this line of play. Otherwise, we can just wipe our opponent's board and leave the challenging to another Xyz monster. And that's all I've got to say about Hunters. This theme was pretty interesting to look at. There was a time in the game where rank 4s were king, and while their utility still remains among some of the best ever, it's just not what it used to be. Well, not until a deck build pack decided to overtune those. But seeing how they tried to express that playstyle with abundant normal summons was pretty cool, and while it occupies the space as a fan favorite theme more than anything else, as recent releases have shown, all it takes is an adjacent theme getting some support for older archetypes to ride their coattails. I mean, they're releasing Odeon cards just because Argo Stars are releasing. If it can happen to everyone's third favorite Gravekeeper, it can happen for your archetype. After all, it's not the number of tournament tops you get or the Nintendo Switches that you earn, or I guess Steam Decks are more topical now. It's all about family. Thanks for the life lesson, Vin. But now, I want to hear what you all have to say. Do Hunters have what it takes to spark a revolution in the meta, or were they just not born to the right family? And which one's your favorite? I've got to say, I'm a fan of the Seahorse. It's got such a supreme snooter. Let me know your favorite down below, and if you haven't already, please like the video if you liked it, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, consider watching one of my videos in the suggested feed to help my video show up in your homepage, and be sure to share this video with somebody you know who loves Yu-Gi-Oh! It really does a lot to help me out. Today's episode is brought to you by Dragon Shield. Get the sleeves as strong as dragon scales that even come with their own lore and save 5% on your order by using the coupon code GoldenNova at checkout. It was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's illustrious Quasar Commanders, Upstairs Media, and Cernite JCB, Nebula Navigators, 3rd Dynasty, 50 Gigabytes, Ada Basilisk, Adam Zajdel, Ancient Wizard, Andrew Newman, Battle Axe, Kane Senpai, Charlie Mercury, Chibi Gohan, Christopher Fuss, Clockswork, Comrade Copperbottom, Eric, Frankie, Garland Chaos, Green Knight, Great Big Pillock, Hairbear, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Iron Zero, Iskander 711, Carp, Marion James E. Picata, Mike Cook, Millennia Asta, Muse Clark, Neon Yaminair, Orozco 09096, Panther J, Batpoos, Rebel King Lucifer, Red Eyes Jackalow, RJ the Jank Monarch, Sonic 21 Blast, The Critic of Innocence, Thievery Coast and the Wizard Moose, Cosmic Crusaders Ally Vatia, Animasta, Anthrak, Baden Von Titty Sprinkles, Beluga Masta, Blitzwolf, Chaz Ghost, Chris B, Dr. Entity RIP, Eva Padilla, Hike Boyagian, Herbal D, Inblink, Kale the Dragon, Lobomaru 02, Manga Pages, Natiel Lee Alexander, Night Trummo, Not Al Gore, Nyx, Obsidian, Pombo, Rain, Rhyme Kairos, Schwenny, Shizuka Nijimura, Sophie, apparently, Sphilia, Stephen Williamson, The Legendary Raven, The Phantom Knights of Shitted Pants, The Gene, Tiger X2476, Weasel King of Weaseltown, Zaldreka, and Zero Day Nova, as well as all the lovely Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, get my videos early, be a part of these credits and other awesome perks, it would mean the world to me if you would check out the link to my Patreon in the description or consider joining here as a YouTube member. Even a single dollar means the world to me, and honestly helps me a lot more than YouTube ad rev. And if you'd like to see another light theme that loves making rank 4s, check out this video where I cover Bujins. Or if you want to see its associated archetype from the manga, check out this video where I cover Dull Monsters. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.